we have more teams reaching out in regards to some professional training, some hands-on testing, especially in the non-functional areas. So can you provide a few recommendations as to what type of courses they should be registering for and looking into?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the development of excellent quality software, something that is often overlooked is that performance is a kind of killer feature. It's a feature on its own. And those who are working with a tool where they don't have to constantly think about it, where it just goes with the flow, they're going to enjoy using that a lot more. So your company's software is going to benefit tremendously from having people put a bit of time into better performance. And now that said, like we often talk about in our classes, if something isn't well tested, it should probably be considered broken. And so automation using performance testing tools like JMeter or profiling tools like just off the cuff here, JProfiler or something like that can often be used to put some instrumentation on your systems to get a sense of how things currently are. And once you have a sense of where you are, then you can keep a grip on that and start to make improvements to things knowing that you're not losing any ground. So really, in our classes, we like to talk about some of the tools that are available out there, but we also like to talk about general ideas, driving concepts like latency and throughput and performance over time, and all these things that may not be immediately obvious and that we sometimes forget about,
Great.
but that when we include in a kind of automation regimen, it just keeps us hygienic as we do our work.
Awesome. And I know that you have a passion for that type of teaching and those type of skills. But speaking about the performance load and stress testing course, what type of roles would you say benefit for someone looking to pursue this type of training? Like,
I'd say that probably all the developers are going to benefit from this for sure. People that have a testing mindset, the testing team, or those in the automation suite, but then also the business will get a sense of the value of some of these things, because oftentimes it is the business that is the driving force of the design, the planning, and so forth. And if they aren't aware that this is very important for the team, they may not realize that time and budget needs to be allocated to it. So I would say that it's generally applicable, although it is certainly the case that when I'm speaking with a more technical audience, we're going to be able to dig a bit further down into some of the details about how this plays out.
for that. Now, in terms of the load testing JMeter course, who was this training built for? What type of audience would you say?
I'd say in that case, it was for people that want to use JMeter. They've maybe started using it or have been using it for a while. And we talk about some of the basic fundamental concepts. And we also think about some of the edgier cases that do come up pretty often so that people can develop a comfort with it. I mean, when it comes to the tools, it's not going to be the case that people walk out as experts, but they're certainly going to walk out with a fair degree of experience in it so that when they try it the next time, it's not going to be completely foreign to them. And so they're going to be able to have a much smoother transition to common use.
So,
Awesome.
in terms of helping these teams take what they've learned in these training courses to an advanced level, what would you recommend, Byron, being the next steps after they've completed a course with us?
We generally find that it's very beneficial for teams that have been through some of the training here at Coveros to have a little time spent afterwards to work together in a practical manner with your own software and practices so that we can help to affect a deeper understanding of these, and so that your teams aren't just walking around with a shallow concept.
So we've got some other courses coming down the pipe as well that are currently within the being developed. So are you able to share some insight into those courses, what you're excited about, and what our audience can expect from us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working on an API class right now, and I talk in some of my classes about the agile testing pyramid, where at the base of things, there's the unit tests and then there's the service level tests. And so in that case, if we can integrate into the API level, it's almost like the plumbing to an application. And that gives us a much broader and deeper access oftentimes and allows us to test things that wouldn't ordinarily be testable at the UI. Now, that said, there are better practices, there are common practices in that case, and this is something that we're developing very quickly, and that covers many of the topics that our students are asking about. What kinds of tools to use? How fast should these tests run? What practical approaches, like, for example, if you're dealing with a lot of security, what considerations do you need to include there? So we're pretty pleased with what we've gotten done so far, and we're looking forward to a great rollout of that class.